We need to talk.
We need to talk.
We need to talk.
Facebook, Twitter, YouTube family, this is Brother Tremont coming back with episode number 3 of our male-female relationships video blog. We need to talk. That is a statement made by females that can make a man run for the hills. So the question we want to ask today is, do females really need to talk, or do they just want to talk? Well, it goes back to our conversation last week that we dealt with when we talked about the chemical produced inside of a woman called oxytocin. Remember, oxytocin is a stress-relieving hormone found in the female that helps her to release some of the burden that she goes through, not only during the day, the week, the month, but all throughout life. So the number one way that a female can release oxytocin is by her to feel as if she's not alone. And the best way to feel like you're not alone is to have someone to talk to. This is why females have more friends than we do as males. Because as females, they share a lot and they share their feelings. But they have a great yearning to be able to share their feelings and share what's going on with them with the male in their lives. So what we have to do as males is learn how to accept their sharing, not to take it offensively, not to be defensive, but to actually learn how to listen and how to communicate properly so that she can release this hormone called oxytocin, and then that will make us closer in our relationship. So today I wanted to go over a few tips on how to deal with that question or that statement, we need to talk. Number one, sisters, when you bring that statement to a male, you already have to know he's on the defensive. So the first thing that you want to do is, whatever you have to talk to him about, rule number one is be mindful of your tone. If he senses any hostility or hurt or pain or any of those feelings that come up inside of your tone, then it's going to cause him to shut off one of his ears. And instead of hearing your voice, all he hears is wah, 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 wah. The only thing he hears is the sound of your voice rather than the words that are coming out of your mouth. So please be mindful of your tone. Number two, please try to not cut him down. There's a very important rule. Try not to cut him down with the words that you use. See, if you cut the man down, and the man is someone that you're supposed to be able to look up to, the man is someone who is supposed to be your partner. You can go to him for advice. You can go to him for conversation. But if you cut him down and he gets smaller and smaller and smaller, and the only thing he sees is your neck rolling, the only thing he hears is,
You did this and you did that, and your mama did this and you ain't this and you ain't that.
he's not going to hear anything you're saying. What you're saying may be coming from a good, pure place, but you cannot allow it to be affected by emotion so much that it clouds what it is that you're trying to get over to him. So try not to cut him down. Remember now, we talked about in the last 2 episodes that we're striving to build each other up rather than tearing each other down. So you have to practice words that will build him up rather than using tones and phrases that will tear him down, because that's going to make him totally shut off from what you have to say. And the ultimate objective is for him to really hear what you have to say. The ultimate objective is not just for you to get off. So you have to ask yourself the question, do I really love this person enough that I will give him what I need him to have in a way that he will accept it? Or is it that I just want to get it off of me and put it on to him? That's a deep question. So let's go to number 3. When you're communicating, once you tell him what it is that you have to say, and you're waiting for him to respond, when he does respond, then actually listen to what he has to say. Listen to him, but not listen for the sake of having a rebuttal or a comeback. Because sisters, you know that when you all bring a conversation to us, you already have in your mind what you're going to say. You already know up front what we're going to say, and you got this thing down pat all the way down to an hour or 2. But what I'm saying is, come with an open mind, come with an open heart, and really listen to what he's saying. And lastly, tip number 4, say what you really mean, but say it in the right spirit. Say what you really mean. Get to the point, but say it in the right spirit. All right, tip number 1 for the men. Number 1, look interested. Have you ever seen 2 women talking to each other, or even a group of women talking to each other? When they're talking to each other, watch the face of the one that's listening to the one that's talking. The face changes right along with the feeling of what the other person is saying. So as a man, you know, sometimes we'll keep the same look on our face, or we're sitting there like, man, get to the point, or we will come to the conversation almost like, talk for what? Talk about what? What do you want to talk about now? But point number 1 is, look interested. Point number 2, listen to what she's saying. Try not to just hear her and hear her voice, but try to make a concerted effort to actually listen to what she's saying. Number 3, ask questions. The only way for you to really understand what she's saying, see, rather than going into it and feeling defensive when you think that she's throwing stones at you, ask questions about what she's saying. Because usually, and I know we don't like to hear this, but usually when she comes to us with that we need to talk conversation, whatever she's saying, is some truth behind it. We may not want to accept the truth, or it may not come in the way that we want to hear it, but it's some truth behind it. So as a man, you have to get past all of the hurt feelings, get past all of the other stuff, and ask questions to see what it is that she's really saying. Because whatever she's saying, you want to get into it so that you can improve yourself. That takes me into point number 4. Don't lecture. Ask a question, give a rebuttal, but don't lecture her and make her feel as though she's wrong for bringing the conversation. Because you would rather her bring the conversation to you rather than going all around town talking to her friends and telling them things that you really don't want them to know. But she's got to tell somebody, and it's going to come out. Do you know that most of the people that go into therapy, that pay therapists, are women, statistically? So that means women will pay just for somebody to sit and listen to them. And the last point for the men is point number 5. Apologize and then improve. Don't apologize and then she sees no change behind your apology. Apologize and then make steps to improve. And make sure you do it quickly. One thing about the woman is you have to quickly expedite her need. You have to quickly expedite whatever her request is or whatever her complaint is. She has to see quick movement toward the improvement of that. Now, my closing words for the men. Brothers, on a serious note, we have to strive to be the type of men that meet and overcome all obstacles. We have to strive to be the type of man that does not whine and not complain. That's something that females are not attracted to. So when she brings this conversation to you, we cannot run away from it. We can't run away from difficulty. We have to run to difficulty, meet it and overcome it. And the reason I lean so heavily on the men is because once we get ourselves together, the woman has no choice but to follow. And once we become that type of man will become the envy of other men. That type of man becomes the desire of women. That type of man, little children look at him and say, I want that to be my father. We want to be that type of man, not the average type of man that we see running around every day. I'm not criticizing you, condemning you, or complaining about you. I'm saying this as a man, and I'm saying this as your brother, that we have to get ourselves up, and we have to do better by ourselves, and we have to do better by our sisters. And once we get it together, everything else will fall into place. So with that said, we'll see you again on Thursday. Don't forget, watch the video on Facebook, make comments, suggestions, criticisms. Tell me what you think about it on Facebook. And also subscribe to the YouTube page. That's Tremont Muhammad on YouTube. So thank you for tuning in. Thank you for listening. And thank you for your suggestions. Peace.